Oi, oi, Ezreal. Nice to see you. And I see there's some other people in the stream as well. I hope everyone's had a good week. Better than me. It's been an intensive week. Lots of changes coming. And change is nice because change can lead to better things. But change is also difficult because when you have change, there's so much uncertainty. And it's interesting when you think of uncertainty together with the difficulty of change. When you're younger, you're not so bound. It's just you. So if you're young and there's big change, you don't really have a lot of things that you're attached to, which in a way is just distortions. Instead, if you want to change, you just kind of leave what you have and then you go away, which is what I did when I became a monk. I just needed to solve a problem. I left everything I had and I went away. Very simple. Today, that would be more difficult because I have a family. I have a fiancée, soon-to-be wife. I have kids and we have a home and I have friends. And leaving that there's more attachments towards that. Now, even if you take away the attachments, that doesn't mean you need to leave the things that you have around you. But it is interesting how that weighs on you because that becomes a pressure, like a weight that makes it more difficult to do change because you have that thing. It creates a literal sense of pressure. That's what it feels like. Because when it goes away, there's no pressure. Hi, Nicole. Nice to see you. So when you work on taking away that pressure, it becomes easier to see change because all of a sudden, change doesn't represent that feeling. It's just something changing. And for someone like me who looks at this all the time, like constantly, my distortion towards things, it's very interesting to see how this process that I'm going through now with my job changing and everything going away, how that can be incredibly difficult because there's so much tied into that. And if I would have been younger, I would have been like, this is like an opportunity. I can make something beautiful of this. It's going to be fun. I want to make something new. Whereas now, what comes in is that, well, I have my burnout. I have the problems with my neck because I can go into periods when I sleep so poorly that I just don't function. If I sleep 3.5 hours per night, 3.5 to 5 hours, and I do that for a prolonged period of time, I just can't do much, and I need to put myself on sick leave because I'm not able to do anything. Or the way it is now, when the body can't break down the cortisol that comes from the stress of change. Then I need to have it calm. So change when you're burned out is more difficult because it's more difficult to adjust to it. And if you've had any kind of mental issues like that, and especially burnout, because one of the issues with burnout is that your nervous system is damaged. It's not completely broken. Some people, it seems like it is, but it's really damaged. It doesn't function the way it's supposed to do. So you cannot take stress, even if you're calm. Did I get more news about No, I didn't get any more news. I think there will be in 2 weeks, approximately 1.5 or 2 weeks, until I talk to HR. And I just don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, so the stress that comes from needing to change and like all these things, normally the actual pressure from that, the way that I can describe it now is that I can handle that. That's okay. The problem is that it's as if though the cortisol builds up and then it's still left in my body. So the body literally has problems breaking that down. And then when I go to sleep, I can sleep, but then I wake up and like I have like stuff running in my muscles and the body is just all tense up, even though I am calm. So it's really a physiological reaction to stress that is really difficult to deal with. And the problem then is that then I wake up at midnight and I'm wide awake. It's like I'm running from a tiger somewhere. The body is just like... And so then that starts it's very easy to get that to start in a downward spiral, that you sleep less. And then when you sleep less, there's more stress. And when you have more stress, you sleep even less. And then it's difficult to come out of that. So this week has been... it's been... difficult, but it's also been good in many ways as well, because I've had to look at this and I've had to try to see what's coming up and looking at the distortions I have and just trying my best to be kind to myself, because it is difficult when you feel bad and you can't really handle things and you still need to do things. Strange sound. So yeah, I don't have any news, but the good thing about it is that hopefully it means that I'll actually be focusing more on the channel. It might mean, because that's one of the ways that I could replace that income that we lose. And we're not in a financial position that we can just skip that and I just say like, oh, I'll take a comp for a year or half a year until I find something else. We literally need that part of my income as well. So one of the things that will probably happen is that I'll focus more on coaching, making videos. I have that course that I've been thinking of doing so long that will probably come out as well. So it might be really good. It could be that a year from now we're sitting here, I'm like, you know what, I'm so happy that happened, and I hope I'll sit here in a year from now and say that. Or it could be that a year from now I simply don't have the time to do this because I'm so overwhelmed by other stuff I need to do. So I just don't know. But yeah. So does anyone have anything on their minds that they've thought about? Like I said, I've looked a lot at change. And it makes you appreciate how nice it is when there's not too much change. Because change, again, can be very nice. And if you're in a bad situation, then change is very nice. Usually, unless change... Because sometimes people stay with what they know, even though it's something they don't like. Nicole, I think that it will work out for the best and be better. I hope so too. And I think so too. It's just that the process going from here to there is difficult. And it's like I said, if it would have been a younger me, I would have been like, yeah, let's do this. Like, this is going to be fun. We get to work, we get to create something new. The problem for me is that it's kind of like with my neck. I'm pretty strong. Like I'm quite strong and I can lift a lot of weights. But if I do that, my neck, I hurt my herniated disc. So I have to hold back and not lift too much, because if I lift too much, the pull on my neck, my spine will hurt and start squeezing the discs. So I have to hold back and I use my whole strength. It's quite similar with this in that, yes, I can see the go from here to there could be really nice. It's just that if I push myself too much, if I stay up in the evenings to work and make it like, oh, I'm going to really work for this. And I love working in the evenings. And I like that, like, oh, it's fun doing stuff and I can sit and I can create something, or I enjoy that. It's just that then I don't sleep. And if I don't sleep, then I sleep less. And then the day after I'll be too tired. So I have to stop working even though I don't want to. This is an exception doing these streams. But even here, that's why I moved it forward half an hour, because it is difficult for me to fall asleep after. I booked PM hopefully for December. Will I be able to sit on a chair in the hall or have to sit on a cushion? I've booked for PM. What is PM? Or is it Plum Village? You mean PV? Oh yes, I see now you wrote underneath. Yes, Plum Village. They're not at all as strict with that as they are in many like of the traditions where they do a lot of meditation, sitting. So I honestly can't remember, but I'm like 99% or 100% certain that they'll just give you a chair. If you feel that you can't sit cross-legged or that's a difficulty for you, they have big halls and you can just sit in the back. I think they used to have chairs put out. Or did I have that in the front? Because usually the monks sit up front and then they have the sittings for the rest people, the lay people. And I think they had chairs, but that wouldn't be a problem because they have lots of chairs there when they do the Dhamma talks. So there should be chairs there. December, that's exciting. When are you leaving and how long are you staying for? I'm really curious to hear it. It'll be fun to see what your experience is. I wish I could go there with you. That would be amazing. I could really need it now. That would have been so much fun. But again, like I said before, the problem is when you have a family, you can't just leave them and say, like, you know what, I'm just going to be gone for 3 weeks. Just a week over New Year, 27th of December to 7th of January. Wow. That's going to be really nice. And I think New Year, they usually have some kind of celebration. They do a lot of celebrations and a lot of stuff like that. I want to go too. I'm jealous. Yeah, me too. I'd love to go there. Plum Village is such a nice place. I've never been there outside of summer, so I don't know what that's like. People tried to convince me that I should go and stay for the winter because it's so much more serious. It's much better practice. And I kind of like, well, I don't go here because I want to do serious sitting practice. I go there because I love the atmosphere, and I love the atmosphere with lots of people, lots of children running around, and there's this like energetic vibe, and getting to talk to other people and really practicing. Hey, Stephen, nice to see you. practicing with other people who are in daily life. So it's not just monastics, but actually lay people. But I've heard lots of good things about the winter retreat, so I think you'll have a great time. You'll have to tell us about it when you get back. I'm thinking when I should do the group coaching call. I will do it before that, very likely. Yeah, I'll look later when it gets closer. Did anyone have anything that you've had on your minds? So I feel like it's so easy that it all gets focused on me now, just because I'm going through something, which is, it's a big thing, but at the same time, it's also, it's just something that has to be done, and I have to go through. And I have the ability to take it calm. I think one of the big differences is before I would have had this feeling like I want to push through, and I just push through it and push myself to do it, and the problem is I know that leads to burnout, and I can feel like I said, the cortisol just isn't breaking down, so I can really feel how it's affecting my body. And if I continue like this, I'll absolutely get burnt out again. So the good thing when you start learning how your body works and understanding yourself, then you can just adjust that. So if you know that, okay, when I become overwhelmed, I start feeling like this, then you can just slow down or take a step back, if possible. But it is really good to listen to what you're feeling and what you're going through and how you're reacting to the world around you. Nicole, I'm thinking of all the ways you can do more coaching and programs so you can transition. Yeah, I've thought about this as well. We're not talking about a huge amount of money that needs to be replaced. It's absolutely possible to do that, but it is still, like, one of the things that might happen is that I'll go down in time. So instead of working 80% like I do now, I'll work 50%. But that means I could have the afternoons to actually do coaching, and I could have more schedule. Now it's more difficult for me to have that. But if I could focus on it, and I think one of the big differences also is that I'm becoming much clearer on what I'm actually doing. The coaching calls I do normally it's more we just sit down, but I want to have more clear structure, like, okay, we're going to actually move towards this, and not have them so open. I think I'll have more like I used to have before, which I really enjoyed, when I have like 4 sessions in a row and we have, okay, we're working with this, and then we really work towards something, and there's more structure to it. There's more, I tried both. I tried having more structure and I tried having it more loose, and it depends on what the people want to do, but I believe that the best way to do it is really to have a system in place. And then even though the person I'm working with might feel like, oh, I don't need this now, but really settling down, okay, so we understand this, then we can move to the next part, and then it just becomes easier. See, Stephen, people fail to see that life is all about working on your reactions, trauma, etc. Yeah, basically that would be distortions. Because if you look at those distortions and how you're reacting towards it, the trauma you have, what you're left with is 2 parts. You can have, say you have a trauma from something that happened. And from that trauma, you have the thoughts that go, oh my goodness, that was so terrible. And so I was so unfairly treated, or it was so scary, and then you have all these thoughts. They're not really the problem. The problem is the feeling, the reaction you had towards it, meaning that when you think someone treated me poorly, you need to feel that you are there and you need to be defended, because it's important how I'm treated. It's important that people treat me the way I think they should treat me. If they don't, then I should feel bad. And that's the most natural thing in the world to say. Don't feel bad if you're feeling that way, and don't try to convince yourself, oh, I should just accept that. No. But allowing yourself to feel that fear, that feeling of like, oh, someone disrespected me, someone doesn't think I'm valuable, seeing what that feels like, which is very much what I'm going through now, like feeling, what does it feel like, the fear of losing a part of my identity, a part of my life, a part of my daily routine, what I do every day during the weekends, and how I live my life. And there's a feeling towards that. Otherwise, it's just, well, that changes, so what do I do next? That's really all there is to it. It doesn't really matter if people were treating me poorly or not valuing me or whatever they did. That's not really, it's irrelevant ultimately. Even though as long as you have a strong sense of self that you need to defend, all of that matters. But instead of trying to make everyone else treat you the way you think they should treat you, if you look at, like Stephen is saying, your reaction, how you're reacting towards this, then you can work on the reaction rather than changing the world outside. And when you don't react towards it, life just becomes so much easier. Problem is, that's not always that easy, and it can be very tough to let go of those things because they're so deeply ingrained. From birth, we start like creating this sense of I am here, and if people don't treat me the way I think they should, then I should feel bad. And it takes a lot of time and dedication to look at that and allow yourself to feel, because that's really the key. It's not about convincing yourself that you shouldn't feel it, because that's like delusional. What it really is to allow yourself to feel. What does it feel like to feel the loss, to feel the hurt, to feel the pain, and look at that and feel like this is me. This feeling I have, that's me. It's not them creating this, I'm creating this. And even more than that, that feeling is me. That's quite literally where you reside. That's where the feeling of you live. So right then, you are pain. You are suffering. You are the hurt. You are that hurt little child that feels like, oh, I'm not being respected, treated, loved the way that I should. And when you can see that and you can really let go of it by feeling it, not by thinking, oh, I shouldn't feel this, because that's what we tend to do. We don't like that feeling. So just letting that come. It just comes and it goes. And what's happening to me now, because it's quite strong feelings, that they come up and then they go like, oh, that's nice. And then all of a sudden I'm not watching, it comes and it grabs me like, and there's all that, and the adrenaline kicks in. And then I have to look at it again. And you do that over and over and over, and eventually it calms down. So the good thing about it is that by doing that, you learn how to handle difficult situations. You just have to give yourself time and be kind to yourself, because if you try to push through it, you're just going to do what you always do. And since I've been burnt out long-term twice, I know how bad it can get when you don't listen to your body and try to push through it. It's a bad idea. And I see people around me so many times, like they go like, I just need to go through. I'm kind of like, just take time off. You need it. Because if you get burnt out, the problem is that when you get burnt out, the nervous system gets damaged and you can't fully repair that. You will never be the same again. If you hurt yourself like that, the body can never fully recover. You can become functional again, but you will always have that weakness that you cannot handle stress. No matter how strong your mind becomes, like it doesn't matter. Until you're completely non-centric and you're not reacting, because then there is no stress. Stress literally doesn't exist when you're non-centric. Nicole, I worked for what I felt was a very abusive boss this summer, and I'm still trying to process. I have trauma from him. I'm fortunate that I actually have a good boss. My boss is not, at least I don't think so, trying to make things worse for me. I don't feel that way. I think he generally wants what's good for me, but he has demands from above who tell him that they need to cut down because they need to meet their budgets, and they need to cut down on their spendings. And then unfortunately, since my job is a bit of a gray zone area, I'm the person who gets kind of squeezed out. So I'm fortunate that I don't have to suffer from trauma from that, and I actually have good support, which is very lucky. But that's also even scary, because letting go of that is like I'm letting go of something that's actually good. See, Stephen is saying, I feel like in society, and especially in America, people just want to be better than others, than being cooperative. Oh, absolutely. I heard a YouTube video today when there was a man who was, he had started a few companies and made a lot of money, and people were asking for help. And he said that the way that what he wants to teach is not the tricks on how to sell or the tricks on how to create a company. He said what he really wants to share is that if you want to be a good leader, focus more on other people than yourself. Because a good leader, what they do is they try to help other people. Or a good salesperson, if you want to be good in sales, be really good at helping other people. If you're really good at helping other people, it means that they will succeed. And when they succeed, you earn money. It's if you draw the parallel to me, it would be the option of, if I would be really good in selling coaching, programs, speeches, like talking to companies, I'm really good at selling that. But what I share is just random nonsense, which a lot of the stuff on YouTube is just random repetition, gurgitating, like the stuff that people are, it's like nonsense. The problem is then I don't really help people. I could still sell it, I could still earn money, but if I have something that I genuinely believe helps people and helps them live a happier life and really enjoy life for what it is, and I'm able to share that with people, and that's my focus rather than the selling and making the money, then it's just a matter of time before, when people get help, then I will earn money from that. So if the focus is on how to help rather than the money part, then that is a much better way of living life, is what he said. So but it's like you said, in America, people just think about what can I get, and it's almost as if though I'm going to get as much as I can before I die, and then I win, because then I won. Like, why would you need them? I never get why people have billions of dollars. Why would you need that much money? It just makes, if after $1 billion, it makes no sense at all. You would never need to work again. You could live as lavish as you want. I mean, unless you're talking about yachts for $500 million, but for a normal, extremely comfortable life, you could never need more than $1 billion. Even $100. Like, what would you need more than $100 for? I'm sorry, $100 million. As you, what does cortisol feel like, Martin? It feels like stress. It feels like stress in the sense that it's almost like that. So I woke up last night, I think tonight I woke up at 3:30 at night, something like that. And my body was just like this. I wasn't tense really, but it was almost like the muscles had something running in them. And we call it stresspåslag, a stress reaction. There's like a strong reaction to stress. And for a normal person, it goes like, whoosh, and you get that stress, like adrenaline kicks in. You wear, like a cat is even better. A cat walks, there's a sound, it goes, adrenaline, all the cortisol comes in, like be awake, be aware, danger, what are we going to do? And then the cat goes, oh, it was just like a pear falling, it's fine. And then just start walking. The problem when you do that over, and keep doing that for a few years, eventually the receptors don't know how to break, they get so used to just pumping it out, and they don't know how to break the cortisol down. It doesn't function. So then the body cannot handle the cortisol, even if it's just a small reaction. Like, I've been relatively calm throughout all of this, but it doesn't matter because I am damaged. I am damaged goods. My system, my nervous system is broken, so I cannot handle it. So just that little part makes a crawl. So I'll wake up in the middle of the night and have these strange things going through my body, and it's just impossible to sleep because it's literally as if though you were, imagine you trying to walk across a road and there's a car going, and you go like, holy, I was this close from dying. Oh my God. And you go, like, oh, Jesus. Like, and then immediately try to go to sleep. You can't, because the body's like, but then it doesn't slow down. That's the problem. Azrael, I was once listening to Sam Harris when he said, if you feel anger, just feel the anger. And I tried it, but it didn't make sense because anger isn't the one particular stimuli. It is a network of related and corresponding things working together to produce a reaction. And you can't meditate on something, an internal monologue like that. Okay, so I would adjust that a little bit because in a way I agree with him, but I think that's too diffuse and it's too non-specific. When you allow yourself to feel the anger, that is not allowing yourself to spin away with a thought. First of all, I would like you to rephrase it. So we're not looking at anger, we're looking at a distortion. Because anger has a reason. You're angry because this happened here. And now you're trying to figure it out. Why did this happen? Why am I angry? Oh, because they did this. Oh, well, what I need to work with is that I need to think about the next time that happens, I shouldn't react to that, or I should do this different. You're all in your head. You're all trying to analyze things, and you're all defending this self because you're saying, like, I'm angry because they did this towards me, and you're working with that. I said, just let go of all of that and just feel anger or feel distortion. What does that distortion feel like, even without putting the label anger on it? Because as soon as you say anger, then it comes from something, it has a direction, it's happening to you. But if you feel distortion, it's just distortion. There's no reason to go in and analyze why you have the distortion. It's just an uncomfortable feeling in the body. What is this? Allow yourself to feel it, and it comes in and goes like, oh my goodness, that's uncomfortable. I don't want to feel this uncomfortable feeling. And you notice, oh, I'm pushing away from it. And that pushing is creating even more of it. So then allow yourself to just feel and feel, what does this distortion feel like? And seeing that I am this distortion. It's creating me. I am creating it. We're just a loop. I don't need to be afraid of it. It's not coming from over there from what they did. It's coming from in here. I am. So in a way you could say that I am anger, and anger is what I am. I am anger, and anger is what I am. Yeah, something like that. Because you literally are the anger. That is, in that moment, the sense of self that you have is anger. That's what you feel like. That is the sense of self right then. It's anger. When you feel disappointed, you are disappointment. When you feel loved, you are love. And that is a distortion as well. But that's one you should not try getting away from to begin with. Just allow yourself to feel it, and that will go away the last. Because after that, there's something much more intimate and much more delicate than what we would call love, which is the intimacy that comes from interacting with another person and not needing anything from them, not needing them to do anything for you, but just allowing them to be and just experiencing another person is just so different. It's what people would say unconditional love, but we can't imagine that. So I think people use that word just because they understand that, okay, love has distortion in it, but there's something better, like super love, like ultra love. So yeah, allow yourself to feel the distortions, but don't focus on the thoughts and like all the things you're saying in the course. That's irrelevant. It doesn't matter where the anger came from. It's a distortion. Just allow yourself to feel it and see that you are that distortion, and that distortion is what's creating you. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've had quite a few nights now in a row sleeping extremely poorly. So I was almost tonight, I was like, oh, maybe I should just go to sleep and skip tonight, because I could definitely need the early night. But I really like coming here, and it's very good for me. I think this is my kind of therapy as well. It's very nice for me to sit here and talk to people. Not just people, it's friends. It feels like it. Did that make sense, Azriel? Did that, like, how to approach it rather than going at it, like I said, with the anger and the feeling of anger, as in, where does it come from? But instead, see it as it's just a distortion. There is a reason why I talk about it as distortion or pressure, because that's what it feels like when you put anger, fear, disappointment, intimidation, jealousy, like all of those things have a direction. They have a sense of self in the center, and they have a validity to them, meaning that if you feel anger, it must be caused by something, and you try to figure it out. We're trying to just step past that and see what the real problem is, which is the feeling you're feeling from anger, which is an uncomfortable feeling. And it blurs your perception of reality, and it makes it difficult for you to interact with another person. Because imagine that you hated when people wore, what should I come up with that you wouldn't like? I hate bicycles. Like, I have that as a sign, like, people who ride bikes are idiots. Yeah. So, no, you like bikes. If I wore that, you would feel anger towards them. And you go like, oh, God, peace. Like, how can you love it? Bicycles are amazing. I love bicycles. Like, what's wrong with you? And you have that anger. So you're not seeing me clearly. Because if you'd see me clearly, you see that it was a sign, and you might go up and ask me. And it might turn out that I just think that bicycles are dumb. But it might be that my brother died in a bicycle accident, and I blame the bicycle because it wasn't repaired properly. If someone would have just repaired my bicycle properly, now that would give a completely different perspective of why I have a pin saying I hate bicycles. But you're not able to see that because you have this distortion distracting you from what reality is really like, which is why when you see the world in a non-centric ways, everything is beautiful. Actually, I was wanting to make a video of this. If you know, what's his name? Brian Johnson. Do you know of him? I'm going to read this because this is actually good. Brian Johnson is a man who is working towards not dying. Like, he's obsessed with longevity and he doesn't want to die. Let's see. Brian Johnson. And he does all these things to live longer. And he just took a microdose of mushrooms. And what he described was exactly what non-centricness feels like. Let's see. Okay, so he wrote this. Okay, so here is this is him describing what it feels like to microdose on mushrooms, and this is exactly what non-centricness feels like. Okay, here is my trip report from 4% of magic mushrooms and 4.9 milligrams of psilocybin, the dose used in modern clinical trials. First, the experience was exhilarating, positive in every way. I felt like a kid finding and exploring a new playground. My sensory perception was dialed up to levels I must have felt as a kid, but have been dulled with time. I experienced a sense of touch with awe, meaning everything you touch is like, wow, feel this is amazing. Feeling my fingers rub together felt novel, meaning it felt new. It felt like you've never done that before, which is one of the hallmarks of being non-centric. Everything feels new. It's like you've never done it before, because the feeling of having done it before is a distortion, and feeling things without distortion may feel like, this is new, this is fresh. Felt novel. Touching my skin and running my feet over the threaded quilt lit up my brain. It seemed that my mind was insatiably curious and wanted to deploy its sensors into the world and discover all things. I felt the same sensory joy in moving my body, rolling my joints, curving my back, curling up in a ball, flexing muscles and moving all about in a fluid fashion. My body felt nimble, supple, fit and strong. My sense of hearing was equally as elevated. It helped that I was also wearing my new hearing aid, which restores frequent blah, blah, blah. So, my facilitator gave me some water in a glass jar. The visuals of light reflections, water dynamics, and sensory experience of holding the glass were so fascinating that I forgot to drink. My brain wanted to stare, study, and marvel. This is exactly what it feels like to be non-synchronous. Like what he's describing, that's what it feels like to experience the world without distortions. That's why I'm pushing this so hard, because he was literally in a non-centric experience. But he took a drug to get there, so he kind of misses the point. And generally speaking, when you take drugs, it's more... The way I've had it described is that it's like scuba diving with... It's the comparison of scuba diving compared to being a fish. Because you have this like skewed perception and you haven't fluidly got into that state. And so you're now making all these parallels and drawing... instead of just actually being non-centric. So he got the experience, but he missed a vital part of it. Which now he's like, whoa, that's so cool, I'm going to go do it again. He wants to get it, but he doesn't understand that where that came from was the letting go of all these distortions. So that's, how did I get into that? I forgot. Yeah, I think it was me talking about why it's so important to not make up. Because you can feel exactly what he felt without mushrooms. You don't need that. And that's what we're moving towards. And the more you do that, the closer to that your life experience will be. Like my life experience is more towards that than what I would say normal life was like before. And then difficult things come up and you get pushed out of that and it hurts even more because you're used to feeling this nice feeling and then you get kicked out of it. Is he the mortal guy? Yeah, the mortality guy, that's him, yeah. Not a microdose, more of a superdose. Oh, really? I don't know how that works. It is fascinating. Life is not suffering, life is joy. Exactly, Stephen. That's the thing. Life is joy, but the way we perceive life is suffering because we have all these distortions, making it difficult for you to experience the world like he's describing. That's like one of the most beautiful descriptions of non-centric experience that you could make. It's exactly like that. You just sit and you go, whoa. It's when I described that, when I said that I had that panic attack at a meditation center and I was pushing, I'm going mad. And then I dropped it and I was like, whoa, what just happened? And I remember doing like this. I'm like, whoa, that's amazing. Oh, the lights, the sound. And then you start grasping and you try to keep it and then it falls apart because you're doing the pulling. A drug can kind of force you out of it, but it doesn't really make it easier for him to get in there again. If anything, he will now crave for that and he'll have an even harder time getting into it. So yeah, life is joy. That's literally when I've been discussing and trying to figure out how am I supposed to change my channel. What is it that what am I helping you with? Like, what am I trying to get you to feel? That's what I'm trying to get you to feel without the woo, but actually getting your life to be closer to that, because that's what it's like when you're able to let go of all these ideas of how things should be. And you're able to see the world as if though it was the first time you saw it every time. So yeah, really, really interesting description of what it's like to microdose, or like Azrael saying, superdose. Okay, so today is, thank you for bringing that up. I'm not sure how we got into that. Today is Thursday, so today is microdosing day. No, I mean, sorry, no, it's box breathing day. And let's see, I'm going to take it out. What we do is that we actually use a program. Let's see if I can find it on my telephone that will guide us through 7 minutes of box breathing. Box breathing is also called tactical breathing, and it's a breathing technique that where you breathe in a box. You breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold your breath for 4 seconds, you breathe out for 4 seconds, you hold your breath for 4 seconds, you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold your breath for 4 seconds, you breathe out for 4 seconds, and you hold your breath for 4 seconds. And what that does is it really calms down your nervous systems. It's amazing. I've been doing it myself these last few days when the distortions become overwhelming. Great thing to do in the middle of the night if you wake up and you can't fall asleep. Great thing to do if you're in a difficult conversation and things just start getting overwhelmed. Just do this. In a difficult situation where something is happening and you're having a hard time being there, then just do this exercise, because it really helps with centering yourself and not being so pulled away by the things happening. So we'll do an exercise where we do that for 7 minutes. After that, we'll sit the remaining 30 minutes together, just in silence, because it's very nice to do breathing exercises and then calming down and just sitting. So if there's nothing else, I'll just start, and then we'll enjoy it. So I will start the program, and you can listen to it. I'll do it in the beginning. I'll tell you when to breathe in and breathe out, and then I'll let it stop, and you just continue following the sound. Breathing in, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. That was a really nice sitting. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that the box breathing works for you. It's one of the best techniques to have with you for simple, quick calming down if you're in a difficult situation. It's called tactical breathing for a reason, because it really makes you get calm in a difficult situation. As always, I love the conversations. I'm happy that you come here, and I appreciate the support. And I wish you a great weekend, and I'll see you back on Monday again. Thank you.